All right, so bell work. Bell work for 9-6. You need to add that to your table of contents if you haven't already. Extra bell work that I will expect to see when I'm checking your homework packets. So for number 1, how do I solve for x? What do I do? Somebody said it, distribute. So you're going to take the 5 and the 2, and you're going to distribute each of those terms as such. 15 minus 5x plus 6 minus 2x equals 14. Now what do? You're going to combine like terms. Now notice, distribution, combining like terms, those are all justifications. Your first question on your quiz is going to have to do with justifications. So make sure you know that. So the first justification would be distributive property. The second would be combining like terms. So when I combine this 15 and this 6, I get 21. And when I combine this -5 and this -2, I get -7. So I get -7x and then plus 21 equals 14. Now what do I do now? Subtract 21. The justification would be what? Well, that's the end goal. End goal is to isolate the variable. What's the property that allows me to subtract 21 on both sides? Subtraction property of equality, right? So it's just the name and the operation match. If you're subtracting, subtraction property. I'm not going to test you on associative or commutative, even though you should know those things. This is what we're going to be doing right now. So I'll take -7x. I'm going to set that equal to -7. And then what do? Divide. So that would be division property of equality as a justification. X equals 1. Are you prepared tomorrow to justify your steps? Okay, we're good with that. The next one, you have a fraction on one side without anything on the outside of that fraction. So how do you get rid of that fraction? Multiply by 3, right? You're doing that inverse operation. You're multiplying both sides by 3. I'm going to go ahead and erase the other part here so we have some room. So you're going to multiply both sides by 3, as so. When I have a 3 in the numerator and a 3 in the denominator, I don't even have to worry about distribution because it's going to cancel out anyways. So now I have a k minus 4 equals 9. Then what do? Add 4. So I'm going to add 4, and I get k equals 13. Do you understand that? All right. The next one's kind of different. The big difference is you have something on the outside of the fraction, so how do I get rid of that thing outside of the fraction? Subtract. So I'm going to use my subtraction property of equality. I get h over 2 equals 3. And then what do? Multiply by 2 to get rid of the fraction. Perfect. These cross out now, and I get h equals 6. I'm like a good student who wants a good score. I'm going to circle all my answers. Okay, do you have any questions on the bell work? Yes.
When you say justify, do you mean by write out everything, explaining everything in your own words?
Not in your own words. All that means is be able to say what you did at each step. So the first step on number 1 was distributive property. That's a justification. The second step on number 1 was combining like terms. That's a justification, right? It's spelling out for your reader what you're doing because we have a distributive property, because we can combine like terms. Those are all allowable justifications. And then we have specific properties like my addition property of equality and subtraction property of equality that we looked at last couple classes that allow us to subtract the same number on both sides or add the same number on both sides. needs to watch it. What I did was I looked at this problem and I saw the word mean. Mean is average. So I'm going to take the average of my miles biked, including the one on Friday that I don't know. I'm going to add them together and divide by the total. There are 5 days in the week, so that's why I divided by 5. Why did I set it equal to 5? Yes. Well, the 5 days is this 5. So that definitely does have a place in the problem, but what about this 5? Yes.
That's how many miles you have to do every day.
Well, yes. That's the average miles that you want. Perfect. So he wants to bike 5 miles on average, right, per day, or for the week. 5 miles for the week. So you want the mean to equal 5. So up here, what I did was I combined my like terms to get 14. I still have a plus x. And then I solved this problem in the same way that I did the Bellwork problem that involved a fraction. I multiplied by 5 on both sides, got rid of that denominator, and I ended up with 14 plus x equals 25, subtracted 14 and got 11, and he needs to bike 11 miles. So he needs to bike 11 miles. Does anyone have any questions on that problem and how I solved it? And does it make sense now? Okay. So, to solve this problem, it says your school's drama club charges $4 per person for admission to a play. The club borrowed $400 to pay for costumes and props. After paying back the loan, the club has a profit of $100. How many people attended the play? I want to know the number of people. They charged $4 per person. I don't know the number of people, so that's why I have X. Why did I subtract 400? Why did I subtract 400 as opposed to add 400? Yes.
Because the club borrowed $400 to pay for costumes and props.
Yes, the club borrowed $400. That's why I subtracted $400. And then from there, I set that equal to that remaining profit that I have after the amount borrowed. And then I solved for the value of X to see how many people attended the play, and I got 125 people attended the play. Please put that in a complete sentence when you're solving a word problem. Questions? No? All right. Okay, so to solve this problem, you're going to take all of the angles, you're going to sum them up, add them all together, combine your like terms, and set it equal to the number given. The sum of the angles is 360. So when you combine your like terms, you get 36a equals 360. Divide both sides by 36 to get rid of that number in front of a, the coefficient, and you get a equals 10. Plug a back in here to all of these to find all of your angle measures. Everyone always forgets that part of it. And ta-da, you got the right answer. All right, just be prepared for distance equals rate times time problem on your quiz. Note how I solved this with the 70 and the 75, and then I added the 35 and the 25 miles that were already accounted for in the problem. Do you have any questions? No? So, 5 times the sum of a number and 4. So the sum of a number and 4, I'm going to take that times 5, and I'm going to set that equal to negative 15. Now, I can distribute here, or I can get rid of that 5 by dividing. You have a choice. So I end up with 5x plus 20 equals negative 15. Then I subtract 20, and I subtract 20. Oh, so we messed up the sign. So that should be 5x equals negative 35, which when we divide by 5 will give us a negative 7. All right, so don't mess up your negative. Don't mess up your negative. Questions on this? None? Are you prepared to answer a question like this on your quiz tomorrow? Please check your negative signs. This problem says the formula D equals 1/2 n plus 36 relates the nozzle pressure N in pounds per square inch of a fire hose and the maximum horizontal distance the water reaches, D, in feet. How much pressure is needed to reach a fire 50 feet away? So I have a distance. I'm going to replace the D with 50 feet